Hey there, I'm David, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm from all over. I was born in the LA area, I've lived all throughout California, lived in Nevada, Boston area, and now I live in Washington. Being able to go to all these different places has exposed me to a bunch of different culinary traditions. On top of that, I've had the opportunity to travel to Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and hopefully more soon. These different culinary traditions that I've been exposed to have helped define how I look at food. Now, I'm not just somebody who only has experience in food. If you've ever played the game Ebony, that was my baby for about 8 years. During my time with that particular company, I developed Ebony, Ebony Mobile, Heroes Charge, even did some work on Heroes Arena. It was beautiful. I made people happy on a daily basis. And overall, that's what I like to do. I like to make people happy. What I've learned is a lot of people are afraid of cooking, or there's things that they have going on in the kitchen that they don't know how to do, and they'd like to learn them better in order to entertain others, or to make a better dinner at home, or to make a nice dinner for somebody special. I like to help people get better at that. So my background, I started cooking when I was really young, thanks to Julia Childs. Julia Childs was kind of the TV that I watched during the week along with cartoons. During the weekends it was Godzilla, Kung Fu Theater, Julia Childs, Jacques Pepin, even Martin Yan. You know, Yan can cook. I took those words to mind, I think. He would always say, if Yan can cook, so can you. I mean, that's absolutely correct. If I can cook, you can cook. If Martin Yan can cook, you can cook. Are we going to make the same things the same way? No, not at all. We're going to do what we can within our abilities, right? And so you can do everything I do. It may turn out a little bit different, but it'll be just as good. To get back to it, I watched a lot of Julia Childs, Martin Yan, read cookbooks, and I really wanted to make different things for my family. That moved on to getting a dishwasher job when I was very young. That moved on to culinary training at both culinary school and apprenticeships. I worked in kitchens, and then I left that to pursue a tech industry career path. I've been a DJ, I've worked in the tech industry, I've worked in marketing, you know, I've made video games, and now I'm kind of just coming back to my roots, because as the things I work on in tech are less and less at a granular level, I need some sort of creative outlet. Leaving the games industry, I left that creative outlet. One of the games that's out that I made, off the top of my head, I can think of 6 different dirty jokes that I put into the characters and their bios themselves, let alone into the game. I don't have that kind of outlet when I'm working on, say, blockchain content, or, you know, traveling to give a talk, right? So this is where I come back to food. The people I meet, I can cook for them. I can create a genuine connection with somebody very quickly. They can also understand what kind of a person I am by trying the food I make. So what does food mean to me? Well, I can tell you that food means a few different things based on the phase of the moon, the time of the day, how I feel, whether or not I slept very well or not the night before. Food is a tool that we use to survive, right? And food is more than that. Food is creative expression, just like any other modern art or modern classical art. And that's when we get into the kind of really weird looking plates from people like Ferran Adria, right? It doesn't look like food. In theory, you're supposed to eat it. It might nourish you. You may have to go to McDonald's afterwards. You don't know. All you know is you spent a lot of money. Then we get into kind of how I see it, what my philosophy is. And this has evolved over many years. I think with the food that I make, I'm kind of a mix of a bunch of different cuisines and traditions and ways I've been taught. But I think what we can do is we can look at different cuisines and say, you know what, if you understand a cuisine from a culture, you are likely going to be more open and welcoming to the people of that culture. You know, right now, people don't have great examples for, say, quality Mexican food, right? There's Taco Bell, El Torito. They're not great. You know, a lot of times they're interpretations of what Mexican food is. Chipotle is not Mexican food. Chipotle is an interpretation by a corporation of what Mexican food could be. So for me, I want to learn what that food is. I want to learn what that culture is through their food. Right now, one of my biggest drives is to learn Mexican food. I never really took the opportunity when I had it to learn Mexican food from the Mexican guys that I worked with. I also never took the time to learn Guatemalan food, Honduran food, Salvadorian food. It was never accorded the same respect as, say, Italian food, where anybody will tell you, you know, Italian food is more than just pasta. Italian food is this broad category of a bunch of different regional specialties brought together. And that's exactly what Mexican food is. That's exactly what the food of Latin America is. And that is kind of right now my personal drive. I want to learn these foods. I'm going to be doing that over time. And in fact, I've even started for the last couple of years, I've been bringing more Mexican cooking into my food, and I've started building my own small little cookbook. I'm even writing it by hand. It's completely archaic and ridiculous, especially since I'm left-handed. And whenever us left-handers write, especially in ink, all this part of your hand covered in ink all the time. I'm going to be taking us through Mexican food, but I'm not going to be abandoning the stuff that I cook. That's a lot of fun. My first video out, that came out even before this introduction video, was me making agnolotti. And you know, really, my ultimate goal is to fuse what I know with what I'm learning to make foods that are innovative, fresh, interesting. Right, I made that traditional agnolotti that I hope you've seen. I made it very traditional, followed recipes that you would find anywhere in northern Italy. Why can't I take that concept of the agnolotti and fill it with, say, a cochinita pibil, right? There's nothing saying I can't. So part of my exploration is to see where I can fuse different approaches to food together and make unique and interesting foods. Cooking is easy. It just takes time, a little bit of practice, and a willingness to be a bit audacious in what you do. You know, another thing I'm hoping too is that this is not just one-sided. Me throwing information at you. What I'd like and hope for is that as much information as I'm giving to you, you are sending information back to me to help me understand better what you need, what you want to see, and, you know, things that I can do better, right? I am only as good as you guys want me to be. All right, that's a lie. I'm pretty fucking awesome. I'm going to try my damnedest. I'm not the kind that's in for a penny. I'm in for a pound. So I can promise you that everything I create is going to be the best I can. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this overall is because there's not a lot of faces on traditional television or other platforms showing food content driven by people of color. And I think when it comes to food issues, there needs to be better representation. There is, in every kitchen of any quality in the United States, there is always a team of Latinos in it. Yet, there's very few faces on Food Network or other food programming that are by Latinos or for Latinos, right? Same with Black people, African Americans, Africans, Asians, Indians. There's not a lot of representation of us. And it's time that changed. I want to fix that. I want to bring in the people that I can find that are people of color, people from minority groups that are not very well represented. And I want to give them the ability to get their voice, their message, and their thoughts out to you. While we're talking about food issues, food culture, cuisine, or just what tastes fucking delicious right now, right? And I hope you like it. Welcome to a hot kitchen. I'm not even cooking right now. No. Fucking cat wants to jump up.